Today I want to talk about a conference, a community and a book. Damcho and I are going to the Sakyadhita conference next year in June to deliver a paper on the fallout from the revelations of abuse in Rigpa. And that is going to be a really great thing to be able to do. It's a very short paper, of course, and there's another lady delivering it with us, so there's three of us. And Damcho's going to talk about what actually happened to her, how she was abused. I'm going to talk about what's happened since then, so all the fallout from the last 18 months. And then Jack Wicks, who is the third person, is going to talk at the end about what we've learned from this, where we're going in the future, basically, so it doesn't happen again. So the Sakyadhita conference is about new horizons, so it's very much about looking forward. So this is a great opportunity to get this this issue in front of a worldwide audience. The Sakyadhita conference is a worldwide organisation of Buddhist women. So there'll be a lot of nuns in the audience from lots of different countries, a lot of Asian countries, and non-nuns as well, so lay women as well. So I think it's going to be a very interesting time. The whole conference is 5 days, and when I had a look at where it is, which is up in the Blue Mountains, a beautiful, beautiful spot, I just went, oh, wouldn't it be so lovely for Damcho and I to spend that time together, 5 days together, and actually sort of participate in the whole conference. Because, you have what you talk about in your paper, but it's the personal interactions that you have with people during a thing like that that can set off, all sorts of ripples throughout the Buddhist community. So I'm really looking forward to that time. I think it's going to be a real treat. I think it'll be really healing, particularly, for Damcho to be in that environment, and it'd be good for me as well. And hopefully good for all of us who care about this cause, and I think it is a cause these days. It's not a campaign. The cause is making sure that Buddhism is not destroyed by abuse. And the Tibetan tradition just has a lot of violence in it. This is one of the things I've discovered. And so now that it's being translated into the West, we have to be really careful that we don't take that violence from, basically a feudal society, and take that into the modern world, because this is the modern world, and the modern world, not everybody in them, but there's a big push in the modern world to have modern values, which are, basically about love and compassion. That's what it's all about. So anyway, doing this whole conference is quite expensive, but I really wanted Damcho to do it. So I just went, all right, I'm going to take some money out of the fund that I pay my tax with. I put a little bit of what I earn into this fund so I can pay my tax at the end of the year. And I thought, well, I'll use that. And I thought I'll just see if anybody wants to help out to cover the cost of the conference. So I set up a GoFundMe thing, and I've just been absolutely amazed and thrilled and totally heartwarmed at the response. At this particular point in time, we've got like 3/4, I think it is, of the money required to cover even my part of the conference. And what that does is it means that when you go there, you go with all these other people that have contributed. It won't just be me. It won't just be me and Damcho. We're taking the whole community with us, And when I say the whole community, it's, the donations we've had have not just come from Rigpa people. So it's a whole community of people who've left abusive sanghas, abusive lamas. And we've gathered together mostly through, the What Now blog and the Facebook groups and stuff. But there's a community there, and that's, there's this groundswell of support, which, as I say, it's just it's just touching. It's really touching. And it also makes me realise how I look at the kinds of conversations that I had on the What Now secret Facebook group and the Beyond the Temple Facebook group and stuff. And what I see is an enormous amount of wisdom and compassion. You know, people are really talking about these things in a very, very deep and intelligent way, particularly in the What Now group. And there's so much care and concern for each other and so much support. And I mean, in the early days, it wasn't so great that we had to kick out the people who weren't supporting each other. But some people came away from that experience with enormous amount of love, compassion, wisdom. Maybe they were a bit like that more in the beginning, and it didn't have anything to do with Rigpa, but maybe also it's what they took from the teachings, you know. And the point is that they're wonderful people. They're just wonderful people, and I really feel for the people who've left abusive sanghas in the past, you know, particularly I'm talking about Rigpa, and they left by themselves with no support. And the fact that a whole bunch of us left at the same time has been marvellous, because we've had this support from each other. And so we've been able to build this community. And so it's kind of like a refugee sangha, if you like. And that's what Beyond the Temple group is it's drawing together, you know, from not just Rigpa, from a whole bunch of people. And, you know, I think it really makes me realise that the most important things that we need to foster in any situation where, you know, you're discussing these, you know, often difficult things, is love and compassion for each other is so incredibly vital. So it's how you handle each other, how you support each other, whether you care about the person that you're talking to, or whether you're just trying to, you know, protect someone or shore up your own opinion or make everybody or yourself absolutely certain that you're right and they're wrong. You know, so it's, as it is, really caring about each other and treating each other with love and respect. So I just wanted to say that. And now I'm going to go for a walk. So those of you who are my patrons, there's a few people who've stuck with me even after I got a job and didn't need, you know, quite so much support. Those people know that I've still kept this idea of, you know, possibly writing a book alive. So the hold up on the book has been, one, I've been really busy, and two, I didn't quite know how to approach the idea of writing a book about all this. You know, because it's like, why are you doing it? Why would you do it? What's the point? You know, what's the aim? So all of that took time to become clear. And there's no need to expose anything anymore, because the Lewis Silkin report did all that. You know, it basically made it quite clear that these are not allegations. These are substantiated attestations. Since it's been published publicly, also, you know, makes it easier for me to write about something like this and actually use names, or at least student LMNOP, or however she referred to them, because it's all out there. And so it makes it much easier to write about these things without looking at, you know, possible slander suits. So anyway, it's coming up to Christmas, and I'm taking some time off from my work so that I can write. And I've started writing because I decided that the way to approach this is through my own story. Because we all have, you know, we all have our personal story, and our personal stories are valid. You know, nobody can deny that anybody's personal experience of this whole situation is valid. So I'm basically writing a memoir of the last 18 months, and I hope to have the book out by the conference next year. This is because we're going to raise a lot of issues in our 20-minute talk, issues that, you know, we can't go into in much detail. So I think it'd be really good to have a book available that goes into the issues that we raise much more deeply. So the first section is going to be memoir, and the second section is going to be looking at the problematic beliefs, because I think in terms of moving forward without carrying abuse on as part of the Buddhist lineage, we really need to look at the beliefs that are used to justify and enable the abuse. And we need to really sort out how we're going to view those beliefs or teachings, whatever, ideas, how we're going to view them in such a way that they can't be used wrongly, because enabling abuse is wrong. That's not Buddhism. That's not the Buddhist teachings. The Buddha he taught do no harm, is the primary thing. So any teachings that result in this kind of situation, there's something wrong with them. There's something wrong with the way they're interpreted. And until we sort that out, we can't move forward with confidence that it won't happen again. Mind you, it does require, everyone to agree on these interpretations. But anyway, what I want to do in the book is list them all, and then list sources, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Alexander Berzin and other people who have a view of these problematic beliefs that doesn't support abuse, so that people can read my book and then they can look at the teacher that they're going to and the community that they're part of and check, how are they interpreting these beliefs? Are they in line with these kinds of interpretations, or do they have the what we could call a fundamentalist view? The view that basically accepts that violence is part of the lineage. And I'll have a section on choosing a teacher in the modern world, because that's it's really, really important, because I think we have to vote with our feet and with our wallets. So we have to be really careful to choose the lamas that don't have this interpretation of things like crazy wisdom and pure perception that basically enable abuse. So we need to be, we need to choose really carefully who we're actually going to support and who we're going to listen to. So that'll be a section, choosing a teacher, and there'll also be a section on choosing a community and on warning signs, cult warning signs to look for. So if you'd like to help me get this book published, because it's going to cost me to get a cover and an editor and that kind of stuff, if you want to support that, in the description I'll put a link to my Patreon account and you can become a patron. And if you want to contribute something to the cost of the Sakyadhita conference next year, I'll also put a link in the description so you can go to the GoFundMe campaign and add your little bit there. So yeah, that's it. That's all for today. Thanks for listening and stay tuned. Bye.